Hello guys, welcome back to Pattern on Hair. I'll be sharing with you a tutorial how to make these bloomers, and you can find this pattern on the magazine Patrones Infantiles number 17. Have a seat down, let's get started. We'll take pen and paper to write down the materials. Once we have the pattern tracing from the magazine, we cut along the sideline that we'll make. These are finished patterns, which means they have 1 cm seam, hems, and cut with notches and green lines. These are the pieces from the front and back. These are the pieces from the hem of the shorts. This is the bias. These are the pieces from the ruffle piece of the pocket. And this is the waistband. We press in half and we fuse them. These are the pieces from the pocket, the lining, and these are the pieces from the lining. This is the elastic. First, we're going to start with the ruffle piece, which is going around of the pocket. So we pass a stitch along to the piece and parallel to the first one, we pass another one, and then we pull the trim from the spool for get together. But first, you have to press in half with the iron. Place the ruffle piece around of the mouth of the pocket. And place on top the piece of the pocket. You have to face the rights of the pieces. Then we're going to place the bias on top. Then we're going to place on top the other piece of the pocket. You have to face the rights, and then we're going to turn the piece. You have to match the sides and the waistband by the notch. First, we need to hold the ruffle piece, so we pass a stitch on the mouth of the pocket. And remember to facing up the ruffle piece because we don't want to get the foot entangled. Place on top the other piece of the pocket. You have to face the rights of the fabric and sew them. And then place on top the bias and sew them. Cut the excess of the bias and cut the excess of the fabric. Now, turn the bias and pass a stitch on the edge. We place on top the other piece of the pocket. We face the rights and we sew them. This is the dip of the pocket. Match the side by the notch and also on the waist. We continue with the front and back. We're going to face the right of the fabric and we're going to close on the sides. Then we're going to close the inner length. We're going to make also the curve of the front and back. So we're going to close the curve of the back and the front, and then we're going to match the crochet length. This is the side of the bloomers, so we face the right and we sew them. Sew the inner length, sew the other side, this is the inner length, we face the right and we sew them. This is the center back. We start from the waist and match the crochet length and continue closing on the front. This is the front. We match the curve of the front and we continue to the waist. Continue with the lining. We're going to face the right of the front and back and we're going to sew them on the sides. Then we're going to close the inner length. And also with the other side, we're going to close first the side and then the inner length. And then we're going to close the curve of the front and back. Face the right of the front and back and sew them on the sides. Then close the inner length. When you have done the inner length and the sides, we close the curves of the front and back. We start from the back and we start from the waist, match the crochet length and continue to the front. We continue with the lining. We're going to introduce inside of the bloomers and you have to face the backs inside because we are going to hold the lining with the bloomers. Then we're going to place the waistband and the hem of the pants. Match the center front and center back. We start by the length. We pass a stitch around of the length for hold the lining with the main fabric. And remember, you have to face the backs of the lining and the main fabric. Pass a stitch around of the waist for hold the lining and the main fabric. Remember to match the center back and the center front. We're going to place the piece which is going around of the length. we face the right of the piece with the right of the lining and pin it around. Then we're going to close the sides of the piece. We fold in half, we face the rights, and we're going to pass a stitch for the sides. Face the right of the piece with the right of the fabric, the lining, and sew them around of the length. Then we fold in half the piece and we pass a stitch for one side, cut the corners during the piece, and also with the other side we fold in half, we face the rights and we pass a stitch. Then we cut the corner and turn the piece. Fold the centimeter inside of the piece and pass a stitch on the edge. Repeat the same process as we made for this one for the other side. This is the waistband. We face the rights and we're going to close for one side. Then place the waistband around of the waist. You have to start by the center back and continue to all around. After that, we're going to close the waistband and we're going to introduce the elastic inside of the waistband. On the machine, we start with the side. We close the sides and then we're going to place the waistband around of the waist. We start from the center back and sew them all around of the waist. Pull the centimeter inside of the waistband and pass a stitch all around of the waistband, and you have to leave a space without sewing because we need to introduce the elastic through this gap. Introduce the elastic. Pass a stitch for hold the elastic. And finish closing the waistband. And we have finished our bloomers. We place the buttons and we made the buttonhole, and also we press with the arrow on the hem. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, click the bell button so you get notified once a new video is uploaded. See you soon. Bye.